Hi, guys. This is Doug Jessup, and you're watching Family Heritage Stories. With me, I've got a pair of Midwestern girls, okay? Yeah. All right. There we go. We got Mary Crafts and Tanya Toole. Now, Mary Crafts is one of the members of the board of the Fedora Foundation, okay? And so we're going to get back to her in a second, but we've got the other gal right here, okay, Tanya Toole. She's from Nebraska, okay, and she is with a group called?
Holding Out Help.
Okay, what's HELP stand for?
Good question. It stands for Helping, Encouraging, and Loving Polygamists. It's all these buzzwords that if somebody needs help, they can type them in and find our agency.
Okay, very cool. Okay, so the girl next to you is from Iowa. Okay.
This Midwestern.
Okay,
Yes.
there you go. Okay, so my Iowa girl,
Yes.
what do you care about?
I really feel like the biggest thing in my heart is to take care of myself and others.
Okay.
And in the process of doing that, I find that my work in nonprofits is the most meaningful to me. I get to serve and I get to help. It's all rolled into one.
And we got HELP. Okay, and she's got the name HELP in her,
Right.
in her name. So, hey.
I was immediately drawn to that.
Okay, so why did you pick this organization for us to highlight today?
I haven't always lived in Utah. I was originally from Iowa.
Right.
And when I moved out here and I really learned more about polygamy, but not a lot about polygamy. I thought, well, that's okay. That's why they don't bother the polygamists, because everyone's just living, their own light, whatever works for them. And don't bother them. They just want more than one wife. They believe it's the right way. Until I began to learn about the dark side of polygamy and the part that has continued on. And Tanya really helped me see that. And I thought, I work in so many organizations, Doug, you know this, from domestic abuse to childhood sexual abuse, and helping children and women out of holes that they find themselves in. And I was dumbfounded that this was happening under our noses and no one's doing anything. Yeah. What's that about?
Right.
And so now this has my heart. I just want to be involved and be part of it and part of the solution.
I guess we need to go down there. What's the dark side? What do people don't they know?
And I always want to start off by saying that there's thousands of wonderful people.
Yes, very much
this
so.
Way.
Very much so.
I think the problem comes in at the top. When you have corrupt leaders that take advantage of the vulnerable, you have people that don't own assets, you have people that are physically, mentally, potentially sexually abused, undereducated, and don't know which way is up. The leaders tell their followers that they are hearing directly from God. So if they say to you, hey, Doug, we're going to ask you to give your 14-year-old daughter up to this 50-year-old man, and by the way, God commanded them to do that, you're going to do what you're told because your whole goal is to get to heaven, get to the other side, right? The alternative is hell. And so you really don't have a choice in the matter. So that's kind of the dark side. I would say there's a large portion of them that we could probably fall into the realm of human trafficking, which is a buzzword that nobody likes to talk about today, but it's happening. It's very prevalent under the guise of religion. So.
Yeah.
Right. And so, again, the thing that I like to ask people is, what do you care about? But what gives you hope? With what you're doing, what gives you hope? What can people do to help you be able to help more people?
Well, the first question of what gives me hope, it's letting others know that they have value and they have worth and that they are loved and they are known, right? And they have free agency, free choice. What others can do, I think if they're in a grocery store and they see somebody that is from the FLDS, they'll always know with the braids and the long prairie dresses, be kind. If you see a mother with a gazillion kids and trying to load groceries, be a gentleman or a friend and go help them get their groceries in. Help them with a child in the meantime, or help them get them in the car. Just be nice. A lot of people come to our agency simply because they set foot in a business where someone was kind, and they are always taught that outsiders are evil. And they see this and they're like, that's not true. These people are kind. So when they are in need, they reach out to whoever was kind to them.
I think those brainwashing techniques have become so evident to me. and that they are told over and over again that the outside world, the world is evil, and that these people that you would meet, they look like they might be, friendly, whatever, but they're not. They're evil. They're wanting to trick you, deceive you from ever getting to heaven. And what better antidote to that than kindness?
It's not like you guys are bashing polygamy. That's what we're talking about is those behaviors that are very much unacceptable.
Yeah.
And so how do you walk that tightrope? How do you differentiate that?
No, and that's such a good question, Doug. Our agency really prides itself on being neutral on that topic. So anybody that needs help, whether they're in or out, feels like we are a safe space to come and be. I will say 98%, depending on the time, maybe 95% are people that are either fleeing or are being kicked out and choose to land on our doorsteps. But we try to stay to the topic of what these abuses are, right? And there's lots of them. And they're in most every group out there. Maybe not as much in the independents, but there's only a small fraction that would consider themselves independents, not under a specific group, if you understand what I'm saying. But most are in these closed, isolated communities.
What do people not know? I mean, because when you look at these organizations, you told me off camera that there was this revelation, I guess is what they called it. You want to help fill that in for me?
Yeah, so obviously, regardless of what people believe as far as politics and religion, there is a bigger issue here at stake. And the revelation that you're speaking about came out about 3 years ago, where Warren Jeffs from prison sent out a revelation stating that you can become a translated being if you're a devout follower. But you must die first, and then you'll be risen like Jesus Christ in 2.5, 3 days. And that's a revelation that's supposed to happen within 5.5 years.
To me,
did you just hear what she said?
Yeah, to me, that sounds like a suicide pact.
Yeah.
Which is kind of reminiscent. And, obviously you're not saying it, but from my standpoint, that kind of reminds me of the Jim Jones, when the literal drinking of the Kool-Aid that killed so many people. The thing that I guess, I'm not here to tell anybody how to run their religion and everything, but the reality is that there are certain things that wrong is wrong.
Yeah, as a community, we should say enough is enough when it comes to things like that. I mean, these are innocent bystanders. These are innocent children, innocent women, and frankly, innocent men who will follow their leaders to death. And that's what breaks my heart.
Yeah.
And I think you said something really wise when we were off camera about talking to our legislators, right? Talking to our senators, talking to our state representatives, to our mayors, and really getting the word out on what is happening here in our backyard. And I encourage everybody out there to do that.
So, Mary, we started this interview with the question, what do you care about? Okay. The follow-up question to that is, what gives you hope?
Well, this organization, Tanya and everyone that works there, of holding out help for these people who so desperately want to come out and want support. We need help for them. We're not going in there and dragging them out. There are people who are walking out but now have no resources, because even though they've been told they're going to earn a wage, it goes into God's vault and they never have it. And so they're walking out with nothing. We need to provide financial help for them, emotional help for them, healing help for them, a safe place to live. We need to be educating people in our community of what to look for, contacting your legislatures, contacting your local police department, contacting your councilman. Trust me, they're in your community. We cannot look away anymore.
Yeah, and I think something that's really important is, in 2020, I think Utah, we thought we did the right thing by taking it from a felony down to a misdemeanor, so they would feel safe to come out of the shadows, so to speak, right, and receive help. And sadly, I know in a lot of these closed communities, keeping them isolated under control is part of their ammo. And sadly, it didn't work. So now what is next?
Yeah.
And I love that you say we don't go after people. We don't go after people. We are literally just to catch them when they come out of these hard situations and say, you're not alone. We are here with you. We are going to encourage you. We are going to fight for you. We're going to get you the resources you need so you can stand on your own 2 feet. And then the only thing we ask is that they turn around someday and they give back to their community or back to an individual.
There is hope.
Right.
Get in touch with these folks. What's the best website for people to reach?
Holdingouthelp.org.
Holdingouthelp.org. And best phone number?
801-548-3492.
Anywhere in the country, you can call her. Anywhere in the country, you can go to the website. Anywhere in the country, they can get you help. They can get you hope. Take the opportunity. With another entry into Family Heritage Stories, I'm Doug Jessup.